We got episode 4 of the Mo&Co Show. I want to do this one solo just because, obviously, before I get it started, happy holidays, happy new year, everyone. I took a little bit of a hiatus, had a lot of clips I wanted to sort through. There's no Co today. Today's just Mo, and the Co is Mo, so Mo and Mo, no Co. We have a big guest coming on later on in January, and in February we're lining up with a lot of bigger profiled guests, so stay tuned on that, but there's a lot happening in the NHL recently. Today's episode, we're going to focus on Canadian teams. We're going to stay north of the border, and then in following episodes, we'll circle back down south with the wagons that is Colorado, Dallas, Minnesota, etc. New Year's, though, was fun. Got a good chance to kind of take a breather, kind of get all the clips out. And shout out to everyone that's watching the clips, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, YouTube. The clips are buzzing right now, and the pod is buzzing too. I've gotten some kind words, even though we're only 3 episodes deep, now episode 4. We're buzzing out the gate. So before I even get started, if there's anything you've seen in past pods, or even this pod, something I mentioned, feel free to drop questions. Feel free to drop what you think, because I want to know. I mean, today, technically, I'm Mo, but today, you, the audience, are the Co. Next episode, we'll be back with the Co. But as I said, a lot to get through. And also, before we get started, I know the left side of the setup, or technically the right side on screen, is not being shown right now. But Fanatics did send me a lot of stuff with regards to the winter and the Stadium Series Classics going on. For those that didn't see on my Instagram, I received a Bruins jersey with the yellow Bruins Stadium Series jersey as well. And Fanatics sent me an insane LED sign that I'm going to put probably like right up here. I also got some like new little figurines for the setup too. I don't know how many of y'all can see. I got Bedsy, I got Youppi, who else do I got? I got Ginla, I got big man Brent Burns on the back end there, back with a San Jose jersey, but just slowly but surely adding and improving to the setup. I really like the whole Funko Pop thing, and of course, back with the routine Starbucks. But what I want to get into to start things off is, well, I guess this is what the whole pod's about, is Chell, Puck, everything hockey up in Canada. First, I want to talk about Montreal. I'm a Montreal fan, so I'm going to get a little bit biased to start. The Habs just went 4-1-2 on the recent road trip. The Habs are buzzing. They had a rough stretch in November. Shit was hitting the fan. Fucking Dobish, fucking Montembeault, bring in Fowler. It was all going to shit in Montreal, but lately, they've had a little bit of a turn. They moved Slav down to the second line, and I need to talk about how the second line of the Montreal Canadiens is now the first line of the Montreal Canadiens. Slav, Kapanen, and Demidov have overtaken the Suzuki-Caulfield line. If we just look at the stats here, with Slav, the Suzuki line has less... how do I say this? The second line stats with Slav has a higher goals for per game at 4.15 than when Slav was with its Suzuki and Caulfield at 2.36. So Slav somehow on the second line has increased the offense for the Habs. And Slav, I want to say, has come into his own in the NHL. He's absolutely a force. When he got drafted, he said he wanted to look like Mikko Rantanen. That buddy's been playing like a moose as of late. And we knew there was a big controversy with the Montreal Canadiens and Marty St. Louis with Demidov's ice time in the NHL, how he wasn't playing big minutes. He was up there in rookie scoring for the longest bit, but his minutes just weren't where they should be with the likes of Seneke and other forwards, rookie forwards in the NHL. But now, ever since Slav has been on that second line, the new first line for the Habs, with the likes of Kapanen and Demidov has actually been buzzing as of late. So Demidov is now a point per game with Slav on his line. Caulfield is down in points per game without Slav on his line. Suzuki remains unchanged, but steady Nick. You know the vibes there. He's always going to be elite. But ever since Slav has gone to the second line of the Habs, that switch happened on November 17th. Since then, Slavkovsky is basically a point per game player. He's absolutely lighting up the Habs. I came up with a video quite recently. In my opinion, ever since Slav has been on that second line with Kapanen and Demidov, he's been their best forward and the best player on the Montreal Canadiens apart from Lane Hudson. Say what you want about Nick Suzuki. Say what you want about Cole Caulfield. You can't tell me there's a more impact forward on the Habs now than Juraj Slavkovsky. Yeah, 15 points in 14 games in December alone, over a point per game just. And he got asked in the media too, does he think he's playing better ever since he's been put on the second line? He said, no, I feel like my game is exactly where it is. And it seems like before, Slav was the complimentary piece to the Habs first line with Suzuki and Caulfield. But now, he's the driving force of whatever line it seems like he's on, because now that he's not with Suzuki and Caulfield, their production is down, and Demidov's production is way up ever since Slav joined him. So, and Kapanen too might end up being a nice little surprise at 2C for the Habs. So yeah, in my opinion, Slav is the man running the show with the Habs. Night and day offense for the Habs, having their studs split up between the first two lines. But in my opinion, it's not even close. Slav has now made that second line with Kapanen and Demidov the new number one line in Montreal. And as crazy as that sounds, Caulfield, Suzuki, they're two of our best three forwards. I say two of the best three because I say Slav is number one. And you got the likes of Hage coming. You got the likes of Zurovsky coming. And with the trade deadline, we don't know what's actually going to come. So I heard rumors, shout out Eric Engels, that someone brought up the idea of Anze Kopitar potentially finishing his career with the Habs, considering the LA Kings are kind of not doing so hot. But then again, plug in my boys, the Habs. Insane new look on offense. Lane Hudson keeps doing his thing. And Caden Gooley will be back at some point. Caden Gooley will be back at some point this week, whether it's tomorrow. We're filming this on a Tuesday night, whether it's tomorrow against the Flames or on Thursday against the Panthers, or I want to say Saturday is against either the Wings or the Senators, one of the two. Matt, can we get that? Is it the Wings or the Sens that they're up against on Saturday? Because that's obviously going to be a big clash rivalry. Yeah, Matt, get on it, Matt. Who we got here? Sens or Wings for matchup on Saturday? Because that's going to be a big division game.
The Red Wings, big matchup.
Red Wings, yeah, big matchup at the top of the standings there. We know we're fucking around with Tampa and the Red Wings up there in the Atlantic, and thank fuck we're not fucking with the Leafs anymore. On to the next. We know the Habs are buzzing. Yeah, the stats there prove it all. Third of the Atlantic right now. They're on fire. Just came out. Habs are playing better on the road than at home this season too, which honestly, fucking right. But yeah, when I was in Montreal, was it back in November? I was back in Montreal. Saw a 7-0 blowout against Dallas, who they just beat in overtime. Lane Hudson, fucking rights. And they lost against the Bruins 3-2, which, again, another team they beat recently while on the road. So the Habs are buzzing. Habs are a fucking wagon. And now going to the other side of the standings. We're going to the West Coast and down south in the standings. The Vancouver Canucks. What the fuck is happening with the Vancouver Canucks? So there's all this talk about who are they going to trade? When are they going to trade them? Do you hold on to keep their asking price a bit higher? As time goes on, teams will get more desperate, so they'll pay more. We don't know what Vancouver is thinking right now. We know they already moved off of Quinn Hughes, which was a mindfuck in itself. But we're going to kick things off here with one of their biggest trade pieces, it seems, and that is Kiefer Sherwood. The Vancouver Canucks asking price for the player is rumored to be a first-round pick, but there's rumblings out there that they'll only get a second for him, but a lot of people think they could do better in a second, maybe a second, an additional piece like a prospect or a roster player. I think Vancouver wants to go the way of a roster or of a prospect just because they're a team that needs to rebuild. They're a team that lost Quinn Hughes. They're a team that has to start it all back up again, in my opinion. So, and with the contract alone, we have to remember that, Matt, what's the contract situation for Sherwood? How many years left does he have on his current deal? Where is he at? I think he's in the last deal of the last year of his contract. Last year, right?
Yeah, he's in his last year.
Last year of the contract, and it's rumored that Sherwood wants a number that starts with 5. We don't know the year, we don't know the term, but he wants a number that starts with 5. And for a guy that's been pretty dry as of late, that might seem like a tall task. That might seem like a big ask for Kiefer Sherwood. But Vancouver is staying calm. They're not panicking. They're holding on to Kiefer Sherwood until they feel they get what is best, just like they did with Quinn Hughes when they shipped him to Minnesota for an absolute package. Another player they might move, Elias Pettersson. This might be a bit of a hot take, But I think the Canucks can trade Elias Pettersson. Just looking at the direction of the team, does it really make sense that the Canucks keep him? Does it really make sense for them to move him? I think it makes more sense for them to move Pettersson than to keep Pettersson. Because if you look at it, 6 years left at 11.6 mil AAV. He's not doing the hottest right now. He's well under a point per game. We all know when that trade happened with JT Miller that was just fuckery, that they should have kept Miller, in my opinion, instead of Pettersson. And look what happened. They got rid of JT Miller, and all of a sudden Quinn Hughes gets out the door. All of a sudden you have other guys that are potentially going to move out too. The one guy that seems like he wants to stay in Vancouver, though, is Tyler Myers, who has a no trade, and he's saying, I'm not going anywhere, and there's a lot of demand for Tyler Myers too. So Pettersson, a potential to move for Vancouver. Depending on the package, if you get something fucking sweet, I know a lot of teams that are looking for centers in the NHL, but at that cap hit, either they have to soak some, or they're going to have to find a buyer that has that much fucking room, because Pettersson's making some decent dough right now. Another guy that I think potentially could be on the move for the Canucks is Demko. So we know the deal with Thatcher Demko. Buddy hasn't played many games the past couple of years. 2022-2023 season, missed 35 games. 2023-2024 season when the Canucks went on that insane one where I think they should have beat the Oilers, but they didn't because of, thank you, Ian Cole. Just absolutely gifted them a pair of games there in the playoff series. He missed 26 games that season combined with the regular season and the playoffs. And then, 2024-2025, Demko missed 44 games. That's rough. And then so far this season, Demko's missed 14 games, but he's back and buzzing. The only problem with Demko is this is his last year at $5 million. That's pretty digestible for teams around the league. But after this year, he kicks in a 3-year, $8.5 million per year contract, which that may be a tough pill to swallow for some teams around the league. So not that hot in save percentage, not that hot in goals against average for goalies amongst the league. So that might be a tough sell for the Canucks. But I do think if the Canucks really want to go in a different direction here and get a rebuild going, they got to move off the likes of Sherwood, Pettersson, and Demko and get as much as they can for those players, because at the end of the day, you're keeping them for, to be a middle-of-the-pack team? It doesn't make sense to me. So get rid of those boys down in Vancouver. Not doing too hot. Matt, what are the Canucks in the standings right now? What are they they're bottom of the barrel, surely, no?
31st.
Fuck me. Yeah, Jets, Flames, Canucks, all bottom three in the NHL. And then we have the Blackhawks, who no Bedsy, no problem, right? So, all right. That does Canucks. That does Habs. We keep on moving here amongst the Canadian teams. Big question among Leafs Nation here, amongst the Greater Toronto area, all of Canada, because fucking these Leafs fans are fucking everywhere. Even the U.S. Is Austin Matthews back? Is the big question. Is Matthews back? We all want to fucking know the answer, because Buddy's been lighting it up as of late. Recently broke the record for most goals ever by a Toronto Maple Leafs player. Just fucking elite. Matthews, Poppy, my stash is still better. 421 on the goal count. Just fucking insane. He had 2 goals that game. The first goal in the game against the Islanders tied it. Second one broke the record. But the thing with the Leafs and Matthews is, I think the Leafs know they got to start kicking in a gear, like right now, before the season's kind of behind them, because they're fucking around the bottom of the Atlantic right now. And if you don't have guys like Matthews stepping up and actually producing at the level he should, they're not making playoffs for shit. So we'll get into Nylander, we'll get into Tavares, but if you're looking at Poppy, number 34, your captain, producing the way he was at the start of the season compared to now, I'm not sure if there's injuries still plaguing him, but Buddy's turned it up a few notches. So is Matthews back? He's looking like it the past few games. Can he keep it up, though, is the question, because if he can, holy fuck, maybe this is the year, but I'm a Habs fan, so it better fucking not be. But supporting cast also struggling for Austin Matthews. William Nylander was just placed on the IR. Buddy is banged up, though the IR status of Willie is retroactive to December 27th, so Buddy can return at any time. We're not worried about Willie. It seems like a day-to-day thing, lower body. So everyone that loves Styles, calm the fuck down. He'll be back soon. But now that leaves you with Matthews having to take all the fucking offensive responsibility himself. I know he's got Matty Nyes. I know he's got JT, but holy fuck, JT ever since the start of the year when he was hot has been invisible. So, like, there's only so much fucking Snipes, 69-goal Matthews. I don't think he's back. So, he's got to really put this team on his fucking back. 6 goals and 10 points in 4 games since the Christmas break. So, Poppy's been on fire. They play, when we're recording this, they play the Panthers tonight, which at the time, only 2 points behind the Panthers. Big fucking divisional game for the Leafs if they want to hop up the standings there, especially catching the likes of Tampa, Montreal, Detroit in their division. And fuck me, the Sabres. Fuck, that's just ridiculous. But talking about Tavares and his slump as of late, I don't know what the fuck's happened to Johnny T. I don't even think Leafs fans know what the fuck's happened to Johnny T. That guy came out the gate buzzing. John Tavares at the start of the season, in his first 21 games, had 27 points with 12 goals. On fucking fire. But the last 20 games, 10 points, 3 goals. Stay hot, Johnny T. And it seems like with Tavares, he's doing better with rest. Obviously, at the start of the season, he's unreal, gets out the gate hot. Then he kind of teeters off. But if we look at last year with Four Nations, with Johnny T, came out the gate hot too, closer to Four Nations, kind of cooled off a bit. And then after Four Nations, came right back and just fucking guns blazing again. So, JT, I don't think he's going to be as hot as he was in the start of the season in the month of January. But after the fucking Olympics are done in February, holy watch out, because we might see JT find his form again since he's not on Team Canada. He'll get some nice breathing time, some vacay time. But yeah, Matthews carrying the Leafs right now. No Willie, no JT pretty much, but he's a ghost. And then we'll get to what Brad Marchand had to say, potential Leaf as of last offseason, Brad Marchand had to say about the Mitch situation, because that was big fucking news today. That was huge news today. We tackled Leafs. We tackled Habs. We tackled Canucks. You know what? I'm going to get producer Matt involved here. Obviously, Matt's Michael. There's no camera on Matt today, but Matt, what do you think of the Leafs? Like, we know Matthews is just fucking kicking right now. He wasn't before. And we can blame that on injuries. No one knew. We know Johnny T. I have him in fantasy. He's just a fucking shithouse right now. He's just a fucking biggest slump ever. You know Willie, Nyes can only do so much. The D's not that great. No Stolarts for a fucking minute now. But they have Wall and Hildeby. So what is producer Matt's take on the Leafs before we go back to the Western Central Canada teams?
I would say if Matthews can play the way that Matthews can and they could stay healthy, I think they won't be as embarrassing as they've been. But, I mean, Tanev and Stolar's out for the year. Wall can't really stay healthy.
But when you say if he could play like he can, are you saying how he's playing recently or how he could play 69 goals Matthews?
I mean, I don't even think you need 69-goal Matthew. You just need him to not be a ghost, pretty much.
So recent Mats as opposed to start of season Mats.
I think recent Matthews and no more injuries, but even still, I don't think they make playoffs. The Atlantic's too good.
Yeah, the Atlantic's fucking kicking right now.
So I think they're just unfortunate to be in that division.
I know we're just covering the Canadian teams today, but for this episode 4 pod, but holy fuck, the Wings are kicking, and after the Habs absolutely dismantled them in their home opener at the start of the year, I didn't think that was going to be the case for the Wings. So they're hot. Tampa's hot with fucking Bald Radish, just fucking kicking tires there. No Hedman, no problem for those boys, and the Habs are a wagon. What are the Habs in the entire league? What are they, 6, 7?
I think we're
what?
7.
7. Okay, the Canes just took us over.
But we got 2 games in hand on Detroit and the Wild. So
yeah, well, I mean that doesn't have many implications against the Wild, but it's just nice to look at. Just fucking great to look at. So now we're gonna go back west. We tackled the Canucks. We tackled the Habs. We tackled the Leafs. Yeah, those Leafs. Those guys are a fucking roller coaster. But big question in Winnipeg. World Juniors just wrapped up just the other day, yesterday. Big question for the Jets is, should the Jets tank for Gavin McKenna? I think that's what's on everyone's fucking mind right now, because what the fuck is happening with the Winnipeg Jets? What the fuck's happening with Hellebuck? They have no second, third, or fourth line. Their D is still pretty solid, to be honest. Obviously, they had that sucker punch situation with Brady Tkachuk and Logan Stanley. But currently, the Winnipeg Jets are last in the league. They got off to a hot start. They started the season 9-3, so they're just a wagon out the gate. We thought they would be just at the top there like they were last year, to be honest, but that hasn't worked out, as we could see. But the majority of the losses recently have come only by 1 goal, so it's not like they're getting blown out every game. They're hanging in there. So, but my opinion is with the Jets is they have one line that's one of the best lines in the league. Their first line, Scheifele, Velarde, and Connor. Those guys are fucking studs. But then we see a significant drop-off here. Like, if we look at the notable goal droughts here, for the Winnipeg Jets, Nyquist, no goal in 30. Nemestikov, no goal in 27. Taves, who some people thought was going to be the fucking answer for the Winnipeg Jets, has no goals in 23. Perfetti, who they also thought could be their number 2 center when they drafted him. He's not been that hot as of late. He's playing on the wing right now too. No goals in 15. And Niederreiter, no goals in 14 too. So, it really begs the question too: should the Jets maybe sell off? Should they? Because I don't think this is who the Jets are. I don't think they're a 32nd place team in the league. Not with that roster. Not with that goalie. Not with that first line. When you got the likes of, let's say, the Sharks, who are in a fucking playoff spot, and the Hawks without Bedsy, they're in no man's land. So, definitely one of the powerhouses last year in the league and one of the contenders last year in the league. But if things keep rolling the way they are, McKenna, the man from Northwest. Where's McKenna from? Is it Whitehorse? Where's my boy from? Number 9?
Whitehorse.
So if shit's not going well later on in the year and the Jets are still down there, I mean, the man from Whitehorse, Gavin McKenna, he's already grew up in a shithole. He could grow up in another shithole in Winnipeg. So it's not like he needs his LA living. So McKenna with Scheifele, I don't know. Maybe. Like, if they keep it up, like, fuck me, right? So we also know the Jets are one of the oldest teams. Actually, they are the oldest. Yeah. The Winnipeg Jets are the oldest team in the NHL. It's a young man's game now. Their average age is 30.7 years old. Those are fucking old heads. That's not looking good over there in Winnipeg. Jets. Also, shout out producer Matt here. Some nice stats here. Jets were, this time last year, Jets were 2nd overall in the whole league. And now the Jets are last in the whole league today. So the next Jets loss in regulation will match their season total from all of last year in terms of regulation losses. So I don't know what the fuck's going on in Winnipeg. Maybe this is attributed to Connor Hellebuyck. Because Hellebuyck, before his little knee procedure, he had an above 900 save percentage, which you expected of Connor Hellebuyck, obviously, right? Best goalie, Team USA goalie, proclaimed best goalie in the league. But ever since he's come back from that knee injury, below a 900 save percentage at 8.852. So could that be because the team's not doing so hot? Could that be because Helly is feeling the effects and isn't back to his 100% self? We don't know. Only he'll know, but some numbers for you there. But yeah, the scoring drop-off from the first line to the next 3 lines, the second, third, and fourth line, is just fucking absurd. If we look, we have point-per-game status for Scheif, Connor, Velarde, Morrissey. Morrissey at 0.8 points per game, but as a fucking defenseman, you can't ask for a lot more than your power play 1 quarterback. But after that, their next highest forward in terms of points per game, 0.38 points per game for Niederreiter, and then 0.35 for Iafallo. So I don't know what the fuck's going on in Winnipeg. I don't even think Jets fans know what's going on in Winnipeg. I don't even think the players know. Just from one side of the league to the other, real quick. Especially after that hot start of 9-3. So stay hot, Winnipeg, and we'll see you at the draft with potential lottery for Gavin McKenna. That kind of brings me into goalie chaos. Obviously, Hellebuyck is the man that is supposedly going to run the show for Team USA between the pipes. Come the Olympics, he did so in 4 nations. Can't really blame him for the loss. I know he has a rough history with playoffs in the NHL, especially with the Jets. Oh, hits every time. Especially with the Jets. But in 4 nations, he was pretty solid. I can't say any of the goals, and especially in the final, were really on him. But now it's looking like a bit of a controversy. We know the Americans should have the best goalies in the Olympics, especially between Canada and the US. But as of late, the Canadian goalies are giving the American goalies a run for their money, especially come the Olympics. Because Hellebuck, Swayman, and Otter are not doing as hot as I want to say American fans wish they were. Swayman, the past 10 games, is below 900 save percentage, and so is Hellebuck. Ottinger is the only goalie out of the three American goalies that's posting above a 900 save percentage. And then if we look at the recent play of the Canadian goalies, Binnington, Thompson, Kemper, we know the story with Binnington. He's had a rough go pretty much all year except when he shut out the Habs. Binnington's the only one with a below 900 save percentage, but then we look at Kemper and Thompson. They're both above a 900 save percentage. So Canada recently in the league, in terms of Olympic chosen players, has had the better goalies than the Americans. So from an area of strength for the Americans, might be turning into an area of weakness. But if you had to take one goalie out of the bunch, I think you take Hellebuck. But then again, based on Binnington's dog in him and his just fucking Game 7 mentality, he's going to give you a run for your money too. So especially after Four Nations. So that's the goalie controversy happening, in my opinion, and in the Olympics with the goalie chaos. Matt, who do you think out of this bunch, especially Binnington, Thompson, Kemper, Swayman, Otter, Helly, who Game 7 right now, or let's say Olympic gold, who are you taking? Because usually you'd say Helly. Maybe Canadians are a bit biased. We'd say Binner, right? Swayman, Otter. Swayman's not doing that hot. Otter's somehow the best performing one out of the whole bunch, but he's on a really good Dallas Stars team. So where's your head at? What would you do? What are you thinking?
I would say Americans, you got to go Helly and just see.
Is he the best of the bunch, though, like out of both nations?
I think so, still. Like, yeah, he's not having a great year, but I still think.
Hot start, though, but not a great recent run of form. But that's, again, could that be because of the fucking knee injury? We don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely going to start for America because, yeah, I think Otter's good, have him in fantasy, but he does have a really strong team in front of him. But, yeah, I just don't think you could put Thompson, Kemper, or Binnington above Helly in terms of skill.
Yeah.
If they're on.
Yeah. But then again, like, especially with the likes of, with Binnington. You're right back there, fellas? Especially with the likes of Binnington, I think there's a short leash for both countries. Definitely a short leash in both countries for both the Americans and the Canadians, because let's say one goalie isn't doing hot. Let's say Hellebuck gets Game 1 and gets lit up against whoever it may be. Do they go to Otter right away? Do they go to Swayman for Game 2? We don't know. Same goes for the Canadians. I think the Canadians' leash is way shorter than Hellebuck's is with the U.S., especially with guys like Binnington, who haven't been playing lights out this year like he was last year, who hasn't had a great run of form so far this year. So let's say Binnington gets lit up Game 1. I think him being on the team is a courtesy to him being the guy for Canada, especially in Four Nations. But I don't think the leash is that long, especially when you got guys like Logan Thompson just fucking lighting up the NHL. So that's the goalie chaos in the Olympics. Then we got teams like, I don't know, I don't want to get into what teams aren't in the Olympics, but there are some fucking good goalies. Like I know Saros with Finland, he's a bit like shorter body too. Sweden's got guys like Markstrom. Matt, who are Sweden's goalies? Do we know Sweden's goalies? Who are Sweden's goalies? I feel, well, back in the day they had Lundqvist and co, but who does Sweden got between the pipes there?
Wallstedt.
Yeah, they got Jesper
Gustafsson
Wallstedt,
and Markstrom.
Yeah. Shit, they're double fisting the Minnesota Wild goalies, eh? Fuck, the Swedes are good too, eh? Shit. Okay. Well, Canada, US, it's not just a battle between us, eh? So even the Finns too, the Finns forward groups, fucking Hintz, Rantanen, Aho. It's shaping up to be a good Heiskanen on D. It's shaping up to be a really good fucking Olympic team. Yeah, let's see the Finns. Who's the goalies for Finland?
Luukkonen, Lankinen, and Saros.
Wow, even Lankinen got the show from Vancouver. Okay, so they're a bit thinner in goal, but I think that's a battle between Luukkonen and Saros, depending who comes out the gate hotter or closer to the Olympics. So, yeah, that D is a bit weaker, though, too, eh? So, yeah, I think it's between the Swedes, Canada, and the U.S. So, now that goalie chaos is out the way, obviously we had our announcements recently with the Olympic rosters. There's been some talk too about reserve players who can be next man up. So let's talk about it. Next man up for the Olympics for Canada and USA. Who's next man up? With Canada, in my opinion, the next man up on forward should be Bennett, should be Scheifele, Bedard. Those should be guys that are on the top of the list there. It came out that Bennett already received a text that he's a possible replacement or call-up if someone does go down with an injury. I know guys like Horvat, Devin Taves, they have had some injuries as of late, so guys can drop. And that'll bring up the opportunity for some of these guys to come up. Even Schaefer is supposedly the next defenseman that'll be called up if a defenseman on Canada does go down. So it does seem for Canada that the next man up on forward is Bennett and on D is Schaefer, which, again, get that fucking pig off the fucking screen. Producer Matt just causing chaos back there in the background. But yeah, next up for Canada, I think that's the drill. It's going to be one of Schaefer or Bennett. And if there's more injuries on the forward group, then I think you got to look at guys like Scheifele. Jarvis is one that was there last year. Bedard, how am I going to miss Bedard? But then again, I do think the way that Canada is preparing their Olympic roster, that they do want sandpaper against the Americans, and they are making their team to play the Americans as opposed to these European sides. So I do think that Bennett will get the call before Bedard or Scheifele. And fuck, you rip me in the comments all you want. I was right because I said Celebrini's making the team and Bedard isn't. And I said one of Suzuki, Horvat, or Scheifele are going to make the team, and ended up Suzuki and Horvat are making the team. And I said Tom Wilson's making the team too, and I wasn't sold on Schaefer making the team. So it seems like I hit all those fucking points. But right now, it does look like Schaefer is the next man up too, so possibility there. But I don't think Bedsy is the next man up for forward groups because of the guys like Sam Bennett and Scheifele. But for the Americans, it's not as much of a debate, I think, as the Canadians, especially on forward. We know it's unanimous with the Canadians that they're going to bring Schaefer. But in terms of the Americans, if there's injuries up front for Team USA, you got guys like Caulfield, Robertson, who's currently 8th in the league in points, and then Matty Nice, who the Americans love their big bodies, which is one of the reasons why Caulfield was left off the team. And I want to talk about that because Caulfield being left off Team USA is, for lack of a better term, bullshit. I don't like at all how Caulfield was left off Team USA. They're on their whole notion that Team USA loves their size, they love their physicality, they love their two-way play, they love guys that can check. They couldn't shut up about how they love guys that can check. Caulfield's two-way game is elite. Watch any fucking Montreal Canadiens game. He's in the D zone. He's defensively responsible. He's even fucking hitting guys. He knocked down, I think it was Brady Tkachuk last year on a hit. Because Tkachuk didn't even see it coming. He's small, but he doesn't play small. So I think Caulfield being left off that team is bullshit. I think he should be one of the forward guys, especially, I think since Four Nations, he's leading the league in game-winning goals, if I'm not mistaken. So Cole Caulfield, when you had a team that couldn't score, you leave one of the best goal scorers in the NHL off the team. It doesn't make sense to me. So Colesy, I know I'm a Habs fan. I'm a Habs Glazer. I'm a Cole Glazer. But that guy should be on the fucking team. And I think he should be on the team before a guy like Nick Robertson, or Jason Robertson. Sorry, not Nick Robertson. We don't talk about Nick Robertson. Ahead of a guy like Jason Robertson, just because I get Robertson's 8th in the league in points, but Caulfield has more sandpaper than Robo, better two-way game than Robo, and better game-winning goal instincts than Robo as well. Especially when you sit a guy like fucking Cal Connor in the Four Nations final. For a guy like Matthew Tkachuk to only play, fucking 5 minutes before going out with his injury. So I respect Tkachuk for battling, but holy fuck, when you need scoring and you make a move like that to bring in also a guy like Kreider, I don't get that as well. But that's the forward situation. They do have options at forward for Team USA. They have Nyes, they have Caulfield, they have Robertson. We know guys like Trocheck are in there and JT Miller, which that's a mindfuck in itself. But if someone goes down on the D for Team USA with injuries, if an American defenseman goes down with an injury and you don't name Lane Hudson, they actually have to blow that whole fucking team up because I don't like how Lane Hudson isn't already on Team USA to start with the roster selection is just fucking a mind fuck. I don't get it. I don't get it whatsoever. Lane Hudson's a point per game player and right now a Norris candidate in the NHL. I don't care what anyone says. I know you got Quinn Hughes. I know you got Kyle McCarr. But in that group, that top tier group, Werenski too, Lane Hudson's right fucking there. Point per game player with the Habs. And don't give me this bullshit about he's too small. He can't play defense. It's bullshit because watch any Montreal Canadiens game. Once one player on the Habs said it best. I forgot who it was, but I think it was Caulfield. One of the Montreal players said, what is the best way you could describe Lane Hudson? And he said he always has the puck. You always have the puck on your team. Your team always, should I say, your team always has the puck when Lane Hudson's on the ice. You watch any Montreal Canadiens game, if he's playing D, he's getting that puck, moving it right up to the forwards, or he's doing it all himself. There's not a moment on a Montreal Canadiens game where you're watching and you don't notice Lane Hudson. Defensive game is insane. Obviously, he's not the biggest body. What is he, 5'8", 5'9"? But Lane Hudson, any battle on the boards, he's coming away with the puck. He's not hitting anyone. I get that. But even his puck-moving ability for a team that needed help scoring. You're talking about Cole Caulfield. He wasn't selected. Best goals, game-winning goals ratio in the league. Now you talk about Lane Hudson, a guy that can provide offense from the back end. I know you got Quinn Hughes. I know I got Zach Werenski. But Lane Hudson has to be on the team. So if he's not the first call-up, if a defenseman does go down for Team USA, that's just absurd because that man is genuinely one of the top 5 defenders already in the NHL. I see what the Americans are trying to do. They want a bigger D core. But you got to bring Lane Hudson if the opportunity comes up. And it's already a shame he's not there because as one of the Lane Hudson's biggest glazers, Norris candidate, if you're not bringing Norris candidate to the Olympics, I don't know what you're doing, especially when this guy is going to be your quarterback for Team USA in the Olympics for many, many Olympics to come. So that does it for the Olympics. I don't know, Matt, did I miss anyone? Is there anyone else in the Olympic convo for USA, Canada that I may have missed, or are you pretty much on track with everything I'm putting down over there?
I think you got it. Maybe the only one would be Jarvis, just considering he made the 4 Nations. But, I mean, I don't think he should make it. But he's probably somewhat up there on the reserves.
Yeah, him and Konechny, too. I guess they're both guys outside looking in. Do you think Hagel was someone that, or not Hagel, sorry, Cirelli was someone that deserved to be brought back? Or is that just John Cooper like in his little penalty-killing duo there with Hagel and Cirelli?
I mean, if they're winning in the third period on the penalty kill and he doesn't win that face-off, then that's going to be some problems because that's why he's there.
Suzuki.
So I know, but
other injuries, potential injury call-up candidates. I know we said Schaefer, he's the first man in, but what if there's multiple D-men on Team Canada that go down and you need more than one defenseman to get called up? And we know Schaefer's one. It's already been rumored. But who else if we have other defensemen go down? I think Aaron Ekblad is a solid pick just because won the Cup with Florida back-to-back years, 3 Stanley Cup finals, plays that big body style hockey, aggressive out there, shut down D-man. I know he was drafted as an offensive defenseman, but that's not what he's panned out to be, and it's worked out for him. So Ekblad's a body you could bring in. I could continue bringing my Habs bias. I could say Noah Dobson. I could say Mike Matheson. Those guys are minute munchers, and they're on one of the better teams in the NHL. And fucking Matt, you tell him who the fuck you just brought up.
just bring Radish. Just do it.
Darren Radish.
Just do it.
Yeah, big Darren Radish. That guy's fucking lighting up the Tampa Bay Lightning with no Victor Hedman there too. So I do think Ekblad could be a guy. I know Pollock was another one that was rumored. Big body over there on the island with Schaaf. But yeah, Dobson, Matheson, Ekblad. They have options. I might get fucking discredited for saying Matheson, but hey, if you watch him play, you'll see he's fucking silky and can play with the likes of Makar too and just keep up with their speed too. So that guy could skate for days. We have obviously some unnamed NHL teams. We have the Oilers. We have McDavid. McDavid's just doing McDavid things. Matt, what's McDavid's point output right now? Bring up the stats for the Oilers. What are we at right now? We know they had a rough start again this year, but it seems every year they just have a fucking rough go at the start of the season and they just pick it up. They know they're contenders. They're still pissed about the last year of not winning the cup. So it's like they just get through their first little bit, their first little rough patch, and then they start kicking from there. So let's get. I think they're near the top at least, or where are they at?
Yeah, second in their conference, and I mean, if the playoffs are 1-16, they're in right now. So
yeah, that's all that matters. They just want to get in, right? Let's see the players. Let's see the player output. So yeah, Connor, 42 games played, is already at 72 points. Leon, 57 points in 42 games. That's actually funny. I didn't expect Davo to have more nips so far in the season than Leon. So 5 more goals for Davo than Leon, eh? So Bouchard, we know he's always going to be up there, and they got Hyman come back too. So Hyman, another guy that was left off Team Canada, but no one should be surprised by that. Yeah, the Oilers are going to be the Oilers. There's always so much you could say about the fucking Oilers. You know they're going to be there in the playoffs at the end of the day, regardless of how rough their stretch is. At whatever point, they're going to bounce back and win 10 in a row at some point. And do I think they're going to go back to the final this year? I don't know. Just because you got guys like Dallas, Minnesota, Colorado. They're just a fucking wagon. But yeah, Davo, one day, I think he'll get his cup. Whether that's in Edmonton, to be determined. But I hope for that city. They've been through enough fucking heartbreak, so with all those Game 7. So the Oilers will keep kicking on. Next, we got the Flames, the other Alberta team. So the Flames are an interesting one. Flames are an interesting one because do they rebuild? Or do they want to stay bottom feeder / middle of the pack team? Because ownership doesn't want them to do a rebuild. They like the whole concept of a retool. I don't agree with that. I'm a Habs fan. I don't agree with the retool because it works for some teams like Washington, yeah. But you have to have the pieces, the elite pieces, to make a retool. And I don't think the Flames have that. Kadri, Rasmus Anderson, Wolf is obviously an unreal goalie. He's had his rough stretches here and there this season. But if your top guys are Matt Coronado, Nazem Kadri, Blake Coleman, Rasmus Anderson, and then Mackenzie Weegar, something's got to give, right? So I think the Flames, with that new barn coming into the fucking city, I think the Flames should do themselves and their management a favor and start rebuilding this team for them to actually be a competitive team again, because we know they got bounced in the playoffs by the Oilers when they were actually a playoff team. But yeah, I think the road is slowly coming to an end for the competing Calgary Flames, which I think is just in the past for them too. So I know there's a lot of talk about them moving Rasmus Anderson, and that price is going to be pretty high. So if you get a bargain for Rasmus Anderson, and I think that opens the door for you to get a bargain again for guys like Kadri, who are up there in age. I don't know how you're going to move Huberdeau with that contract, but guys like Matt Coronado, they could be kind of your pieces for your new look Calgary Flames if the rebuild is something they want to do, which they fucking should. So Flames are not so hot right now. With a rebuild, they could be. So next up, after the Flames, we got the Sens. Last but not least, the Sens. Yeah, we chatted about the Sens last pod with our British Ottawa Senators fan. Interesting for the Sens because Linus Ullmark is not around anymore. He took a leave. No one knows what's going on. We know his performance isn't where Linus wants it to be. Just wishing all the best to Linus and what he's going through. Goalie position is a fucked position. We saw with Montembeault in Montreal, and he's rebounded since. So hopefully this does Ullmark some good as well. But yeah, with the Sens, they're bottom of the Atlantic right now. I think they're tied for points as it stands today on Tuesday, January 6th with the Leafs. The one behind the Bruins and the Sabres. But then again, Sens have known to be a streaky team the past couple of years, especially last year when they're in the playoffs. We know Stützle is a guy that's their top point-producing player. Brady Tkachuk was injured a good amount of the year. What's Brady, Matt? Can you tell me Brady's points per game, like that, all that stuff?
He's got 20 and 21 games, so basically a point per game since coming back with 7 goals.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm seeing a lot online about the fans not really liking how Brady's playing right now. I don't know. I haven't watched too many Sens games, but we know the fucking story with Jake Sanderson. We know how he is a Norris contending defenseman as well. So Sens are buzzing with their best players, with Stützle and Sanderson, but the rest of the pack maybe need to get it together, especially their goalie situation. I don't think Merilainen's a guy that you could rely on to be your number one tendy, especially while Linus is out. Merilainen didn't have the hottest of games the other day. I think he let in like 3 or 4 goals on like 5 shots or something like that, something ridiculous there. So Sen's got to turn around quick. But then again, that's why the parity in the league favors teams like Toronto and Ottawa right now, because fucking one hot winning streak and one of these, Tampa, Detroit, Montreal, they get in a bit of a skid. They could fucking Uno reverse, and then they could be on the top of the standings in no time. So, but you got to turn it around sooner rather than later, because we've already hit the midseason mark, and it used to be this whole thing by American Thanksgiving. If you're in playoffs, you have pretty good chances, but with the parity in this league, it might be fucking Easter. We don't know. This is going to be a race right till the end, especially with just how, fucking 9 points separates last from first in the Atlantic. It's a toss-up right now. It's a toss-up. And if Linus finds his game, Ottawa could be, once again, a wagon. And I know in the playoffs, I wouldn't want to face the Senators because they'll crash and bang like the rest of them too. So that does it for our Canadian kind of teams around the league. We've covered pretty much all of them, some more in depth than others, just because we know what to expect with some teams. Just like the Oilers, we know they're going to be back in the playoffs and contending at least. But with that West, who the fuck knows what kind of wagon they're going to run into. But then again, they bounced Vegas and they bounced Dallas last year. Who says they can't do it again, right? So news around the NHL. We'll go into our next segment. But before that, I'm just going to, thank fuck I didn't drip there. Swig of the Starbucks, no big deal. So Brad Marchand pregame got a little feisty with the Toronto media. And it got a bit chirpy. We know Brad Marchand's got a bit of a mouth on him, and he used it today with the media pregame against the Leafs. Brad Marchand pregame against the Leafs said it was between Florida and Toronto where he was going to end up this season while he was making his decision in the offseason whether to extend or go elsewhere. Obviously, ultimately, we know he decided to stay in Florida with a fucked contract that's going to keep him there for like 7 extra years, which is insane. Florida just keep finding ways to re-sign. They re-signed Bennett, they re-signed Ekblad, they re-signed Marchand. It seemed like they weren't even going to be able to keep 2 of those 3 guys, and they kept all fucking 3. So, another feisty comment from Brad, chirping about Mitch with Toronto. So Brad said it's unfortunate the fans ran Marner out of town. Pretty much just calling out that Leafs fans had a point-per-game player, and they pretty much just ran him out of town. So Brad got a little chirpy there with media, and he does this every time. Every time Brad Marchand connects with Leafs media in Toronto, he's always got something to say. We know he said it last year in the playoffs, and it kind of worked because ultimately the Panthers rolled through the Leafs in Game 7, right? So he also complimented Matthews, saying it's impressive that he obviously beat Matt Sundin for the franchise goals record. Saying he's still got 10, 15 years left in him, Matthews does. I don't know if that's a subtle dig at his injury situation. I don't know if he knows something we don't or if he's just being genuine, but every time Brad is in Toronto against the Leafs media, it seems like he's always got some chirps to throw around. So stay hot, Brad. Stay hot, Brad. Always troll the Leafs. And I genuinely don't know how it would have played out if Marchand signed for the Leafs, because that would have been one of the most fucked things ever. Even worse than him leaving the Bruins to go play for the Panthers. It would have been even more fucked for him to go right to the Leafs too. So, Brad Marchand could have been a fucking Maple Leaf, but ultimately he chose to stay in sunny Florida, as you should. Between Florida and Toronto, that's fucking wild. There were rumors in the summer that he was going to go to Toronto. Everyone was saying it. Obviously, it didn't end up happening. So clearly, Brad put some truth into those rumors today by saying just that. So. Other than that, Bedard's back at practice. Fucking Bedsy. Soon to be back in buzzing, we would think. But going to fantasy picks. Of the week. I got some guys I'm eyeing. Matt's got some guys he's eyeing. I'm going to start with my picks, and then we'll hand it over to producer Matt for his. We're going to go 1-1, 1-1. So I'll start first with mine. I got Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen on the Buffalo Sabres. He's only allowed 1 goal in 3 of his last 4 games. So shutting it down for the Sabres, who just came off one of the most insane winning streaks in the whole NHL. I think they got 10 wins in a row or something like that. So fucking wagon. Posting almost a 940 save percentage too. Guy was absolutely lights out recently, and he might continue to be lights out for the Sabres too. So when you have a guy like Alex Lyon, who was their guy for the longest time while UPL was out, it seems like UPL is getting a starting job back. So if you want games and a lot of shot volume, you go for UPL with the Sabres. Matt, your first pick. Let's fucking hear it.
First pick's going to be Stamkos. I mean, I think he's looking like his old self. He's got 13 points in his last 10 games with 18 goals on the year. Nashville's definitely playing better. So, I mean, sometimes these old guys just get hot. He's been missing it the last couple of years. But, I mean, if he can, we know he's a good scorer. So if he can keep up at least the goal pace over the year, I think it's a good pickup.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, when he first moved to Nashville, it's pretty obvious. He said it multiple times. He doesn't want to leave Nashville. He loves Nashville. That's why he signed there. Loves the vibe down there. And he's producing now too, but we know the team's not that great. So it could be a possibility that management move off of him at some point. He has a couple of years, I'm pretty sure, left. So Stammer, if he does accept a trade to go somewhere, maybe we see him in other threads, but he does like life in Nashville. He's already won his cups. We know that. So if he doesn't want to compete and just wants to chill down in Smashville, he'll do his thing. But yeah, he is heating up as of late. So my next pick, I'm going 2 goalies this time. I'm going Jet Greaves. So the reason I do that is he's a new kind of younger goalie on the Columbus Blue Jackets. Jet Greaves, obviously we know Merzlikins is a guy down in Columbus, one of their goalies that used to be their starter for the longest time. But I kind of just got like an eyebrow raised because Jet Greaves, within the last week, he played a back-to-back. Goalies don't usually ever in the NHL, unless there's significant fucking injuries, play a back-to-back. So Jet Greaves playing a back-to-back with a healthy Merzlikins kind of tells me all I need to know about who is the starter right now in Columbus. I don't know if this is a message to Merzlikins, or I don't know if his play has just been that bad where they just don't even want to give him a chance. But Jet is the guy now for Columbus, and he's playing a boatload of games for them. Barely misses a game too, so this is definitely the most played goalie as of late in the National Hockey League. And they're winning. He's getting shots. He's getting lots of shots against, and they're getting the occasional win here and there too. So for fantasy points, he's a fucking hot pickup right now. So if you need a goalie, Jet or UPL, you make your pick. Matt with the final fantasy pick of the week. Let's go.
Final fantasy pick is going to be Trocheck. When I was looking, I was surprised. He's 61% rostered only, which I kind of get. He was out for, I think, the first 10 games of the year, so he went a little bit silent. But since then, I mean, I have him on my team. He's been so consistent, and even very recently, he's on a 4-game point streak, has a point in 7 of his last 9, and other than maybe Mika, I think he's been pretty much the most consistent Ranger and just getting points night in, night out. So, I was definitely surprised to see that he was only at 61%. I thought he would be a lot higher than that.
And can we go on the Rangers? Can we look at the Rangers lines? I want to see where Vinny Tro is playing. Who he's playing with, should I say. So he's playing with Gabe Perreault and Gabe Perreault and Lafreniere. So
not ideal.
Huh?
Not ideal.
Not ideal. Is he on first power play? He's probably face-off guy for first power play, center for first power play, no?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So PP1, is he on PK? He's on PK too, no?
Yes.
Yeah, first PK as well there. Okay.
Couple block shots.
If you got block shots, fucking Trocheck's your guy. If you got face-offs too, our league doesn't have face-offs, but you got face-offs too, and I think he's a pretty hot player to take on the face-off dot too. So, Matt going with a couple of centers. I don't even know if Stammer plays center right now for the Preds, but center / wing, I guess. And then a couple of tendies from me. Those are the fantasy picks right now. Yeah, no, Stammer is on the wing right now for the Preds. Okay. They're not even rolling 12 forwards, the Preds right now. Okay. Yep, those guys are skating uphill right now. Matt, anything else you want to cover around the league? Anything that's caught your attention as of late you want to chat on? Anything on your mind? I kind of obviously went through my fucking sheets here that I'll yoss aside right now. Anything that's caught your attention, caught your eye? Canadian teams, or maybe you want to chat briefly about an American team?
I mean, I think everyone knows that the Atlantic is tight, but just putting it into perspective, like if Sens go on a 3-game win streak, which is super easy, they're literally 3 games outside of Detroit. Or sorry, 3 points away from Detroit. Like this whole, even like the Leafs too, this whole division is insane. And just like you were saying before, like there's who knows when playoffs is going to be clinched in the Atlantic.
Yeah.
It could be all these teams within the last 2 weeks, like with how it's been going. So who knows? It's crazy.
They could go down to the last game just like it did with the Habs last year when they had to fight for their playoff lives and grab a dub against the Carolina Hurricanes. So,
who's your top 3
in the Atlantic?
When they finish, who's going to be the top 3 in the Atlantic that make it at the end of the year?
Oh, that's a great fucking question. Matt Tkachuk's coming back. Off the rip, I don't see the Bruins and the Sabres being up there. Red Wings, I don't see them being top 3. I just think as a Habs fan, it's hard to say their goalies aren't the most promising guys, but I don't know. The Red Wings, after their first line, I'm not really too convinced. So I don't see the Red Wings there either. I see the Panthers getting back up there. I see the Panthers being 1. I am going to say Montreal is another one just because they're winning all of these games and they're a top 10 team in the whole league right now without the likes of Caden Gooley, which is their best defensive defenseman, without the likes of New Hook, who's was at the time a second-line winger for them, Kirby Dach, who is an offensive threat, Laine, who's obviously our power play bomb. Who else are we missing? Yeah, Jake Evans and Josh Anderson, elite fourth liners in the NHL. Not elite players, elite fourth liners. There's a difference. Elite fourth liners in the NHL. Good PK guys too. So we're winning games with all these fucking guys right now. And never mind, we're where we are in the standings, even with all the goalie fuckery. So I do think, especially Sam Montembeault is looking fucking pretty good as of late, ever since he's come back from his Laval conditioning stint. I do see the Habs being a top 3 team with the Panthers. I do think they send Fowler down once Montembeault kind of solidifies and gives full confidence back to the coaching staff. But the third one, oh man. Oof, I don't see Toronto being one of those top 3 teams in the Atlantic. I just can't see it. Their D is just not that great for me to put them up there unless they make a move like a Rasmus Anderson. I don't see the Leafs being up there. I think that leaves me with the Lightning. No Hedman, no problem right now. Vasi is obviously back healthy. And then Kucherov just fucking out of nowhere just started lighting the league on fire as he always does every season too. So, and they got a new stud, the fucking bald man, Darren Radish on the blue line too, that is scoring hat tricks for fun it seems nowadays. So I do have in no particular order, the top of 3 of the Atlantic will be the Habs, the Lightning, and the Panthers. Sorry, Leafs fans. Sabres, stay hot, but I don't think you're going to be a top 3. Would love if you're a wild card team, but Sens, Leafs, Bruins, Sabres haven't shown me enough to convince me to the point where the top 3 team and the Red Wings, I think they're overshooting right now. So what about you? Do you see the same? Do you see the same kind of top 3, or do you see a different top 3? What's your vibe?
No, I completely agree. I think it's Lightning, Canadians, and Panthers, and then I think it's Red Wings and Leafs if people can stay healthy, fighting for one of the 2 wild card. But yeah, I agree with the top 3. And also, like Montreal's away record, if you can win away,
they can't fucking really win at home. That's the problem. They can't.
Really best atmosphere in the league. So we'll turn it around there.
Yeah, fuck. So 1, 2, 3. If you actually had to give an order between the 2 Florida teams and the Habs, who are you putting 1? Who are you putting 2? Who are you putting 3?
I'd probably, if Tkachuk can come back playing like he can, I mean, we'll see. But I think I'd probably leave it. Honestly, I'd go Tampa, Montreal, Florida.
Okay.
I think that's going to be
second
the order.
In the Atlantic for the Habs. Wouldn't that be fucking something? You know what that does, right? that would mean the Habs play the Panthers in the first round of the playoffs, which, holy fuck, the Habs would get bounced. Unless the fatigue actually kicks in for the Florida Panthers once and for all. So I would give it, oh man, I think it would be Lightning 1, Panthers 2, Habs 3. Just because, not that I think the Habs are really going to like fall off, but I just think the Panthers are just going to really start kicking again too. So, yeah, that does it for, I guess that's another, in terms with, we covered the Canadian teams, and I guess we covered a bit of our Atlantic predictions too. Hope everyone has had the best holidays. Hope everyone had a great New Year's Eve and New Year's Day celebration. I know I did. I had like a nice little couple week hiatus. Got some clips out. Realizing I really need to hire a fucking editor. That's a big one. Time consuming, but you guys are really liking the clips, and I'm really liking that you're liking the clips, and that honestly really makes me enjoy editing them and putting them out for you guys. So we do have guests coming. I'm not going to reveal who, but I'm really fucking excited for these guests, and I think you guys are going to be buzzing by them too. So something I kind of wanted to put in here, a bit of just Mo with no Co, even though Co today was producer Matt. There are going to be some of these in the future too. Let's say when I just want to kind of just sit here and ramble about what's going on with the league, because sometimes with my guests, we talk about stuff going on in the league, but sometimes not as content and as statistically dense, which I kind of wanted to get off and rattle off the Canadian teams, considering we're the halfway of the point of the season. Habs are buzzing halfway through the year. Who would have thought? Jets are at the bottom. Leafs seem like they're on the rebound. Matt's looking like he's back. Hopefully for Leafs Nation. Sens, no goalie. Big issues there. Canucks, time to sell the farm in my opinion. Calgary Flames, time to not retool but rebuild. Tough pill to swallow for them. Oilers, they'll be contending. And am I missing any teams there? I think I got all of them. Yeah, I think I got all of them. Mo&Co Show, episode 4. I've been Mo. This has been the Mo&Co Show. Thank you, and we'll see you next time with a co. Yeah. Thank you. Have a good week, everyone. We'll talk to you later. Ciao.